Welcome to our fourth and our final debate. Our topic for this current debate will be whether smoking should be banned in public places. Of course, this debate consists of two teams, our proposition team and our opposition team. What's going to happen with this debate, we're going to organize it a little bit differently. We have on our proposition team, we have our speaker number 1, speaker number 2, and we also have on our opposition team, we have speaker number 1 and speaker number 2, and we have one rebuttal speaker for this current debate because of organization concerns within our class today. We had an odd number, but here we're going to have our rebuttal speaker for both opposition and proposition who will make a summary of the main arguments given on both sides. Again, my name is Ashley Ladner. I will be our debate moderator today. We will begin, as always, with introductions of the proposition team and the opposition team, and then a little bit how our debate will work. As in the following or in the previous debates, we will begin with speakers 1, and then we'll move on to speakers 2 from both teams, and we will conclude the debate today with our remarks by our rebuttal speaker. First, let me introduce to you the members of our debate team, starting with our proposition team. Speaker number 1, please rise.
Hello, my name is Javier Ortega, and I'm going to talk about smoking should be banned in public places.
Thank you. Speaker number 2, please rise.
Hello, I am Rafael, and I will speak about this topic and to remark some points that Javi will say.
Thank you. Speaker number 2. Now moving on to our opposition team. Speaker number 1, please rise.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kevin, and I'm going to explain the main ideas why smoking should not be banned in public places.
Thank you. And last but not least, our second speaker.
Good morning, my name is Marta, and I'm going to give you some arguments why smoking should be legalized in public places.
Great. Thank you, speaker number 2. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce to you our rebuttal speaker, our mutual rebuttal speaker.
Hi everyone, my name is Mireya, and I'm going to be the rebuttal speaker for both proposition and opposition groups.
Okay. And with that, we will begin our debate, starting with speaker number 1 from our proposition team.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk about the 4 most important points of smoking should be banned in public places. The first point is the support of tobacco smoke. Why if a person doesn't support this smoke, have to inhale it, this person could get dizzy. And this is like when you are in a place and you don't know who are. My second point is health. Tobacco can produce cancer, pulmonary illnesses, and stroke, in some cases strokes. 20 an important fact that is is 20 or 30 years ago only men smoke and women doesn't smoke practically. At the moment the number of lung cancer is equal in both cases, in men and in women. This can affect men ovaries, or women ovaries. It can affect to the future babies and these things. Another point is the environment. If you are in a natural environment, you are here to make it funny and play with your friends, all of these things. If you turn back a cigarette, you can burn the forest or the natural environment you are. This is a big problem. Another thing related to the environment is the ozone layer. If the ozone layer is probably disintegrating. If you are in the car, driving your car, and the police see you throwing out a cigarette out of the window, the police take out your driving license and he takes out 3 driving points and a tax of 400 euros. And my other important point is the respect. If a person doesn't support the smoke, it doesn't have to inhale it. This concludes my argument.
Thank you, speaker number 1 from our proposition team. Please rise, speaker number 1 from our opposition team, and give your argument.
Good morning. I'm going to explain the main points of this topic, but in the con team. Why should be banned this act, smoke? I think that it's like the freedom of a person. Some people want to smoke in public places because also the people that smoke enjoy going to these places, like the leisure ones, culture ones, education. Some people suffer from anxiety, stress, depression, or schizophrenia, or other mental disease, or nervous disease. So they need to smoke. They can leave smoke for 2 hours even. So it's a problem. People that, for example, when you are with your friends and want to go to drink a coffee, you want to be in the cafe or in the pub with your friends, and the law doesn't permit you. So you have to be separated from your friends in certain areas for smoking people. When you are with your family in a restaurant, the same case. You have to be separated if you want to smoke or go out to the street and you don't want. And in the working situations or working places like offices, when you are working with a computer, for example, or with a lot of papers, sometimes if you smoke, you are like dizzy or stressed, so you want to relax with a cigarette, but the law doesn't permit you to smoke while working in this situation. And the last point is young people. First, I want to say that is it a fact that the 30% of Spanish people smoke, and the 80 of them began around adolescent. So young people that are in secondary schools or in college want to smoke. A lot of people of secondary school or even college leave classes to smoke, and it's a problem because the degree decrease. So it's a big problem for education. And that concludes my argument.
Thank you, speaker number 1 from our opposition team. We will continue now with speaker number 2 from our proposition team. Please rise and give your argument.
Good morning, everybody. The first that I want to say is that you have to listen all the points that I will say, because they are very important and they are the truth. I start. Why smoke should be banned in public places? Very simple. First, people think that someone who is not in the smoking area of a public place will not be affected by the smoke, but the smoke is able to spread in a room and affect the people around. The smoking so causes a lot of problems, not only for the smoker, but also people around. Other point is that the cloud of smoke exactly disturbs other people. Imagine that the most of people of public transport smoke. One of the most victims will be the bus driver. That can be affected because of the smoke, and he couldn't see very well. Also, the smell of the public transport and in public places will be very dirty because of the wastage of cigarettes. Finally, I think that being in high school and being surrounded by smoke after school isn't even a little bit pleasant. All of the older kids smoke, so the younger kids like to be influenced, so they start to smoke. it's very unhealthy, and also they start getting into the habit of smoking. And a very important point is that babies are very affected because the respiratory system is not developed, and babies can have more problems than adults. In 2 words, smoke kills.
Thank you, speaker number 2 from our proposition team. Now we will conclude the debate with some concluding remarks from our one and only rebuttal speaker. Please begin and state your arguments, or the summaries for both teams. Excuse me. Now we will continue with our second speaker, who will stand and give her arguments from our opposition team.
My first argument I want to speak is that in certain months of the year, like January, February, March, April, November, and December, people can catch a cold or even a breathing disease. Also, temperatures are lower and precipitations are higher. So people don't want to be forced to go to the streets to smoke. So if they think that if they go to a public place, they have to smoke there. So they don't want to catch it. Also, in months like June and September, the probability of rainfall is higher. Even there are higher temperatures than in the months that I already. Also, people prefer to stay at home smoking instead of visiting public places because they think that if they have to visit a public place and they want to smoke, they have to go to the streets, so they don't like it. My second point is that 50% of the clients of the bars, restaurants, will lose bars and public places closed because they don't have clients. They will not pay taxes, so the state will lose money, and they couldn't invest. They couldn't put this money on making some public places like museums, cinemas, and all this. And with this, I compliment.
Thank you, speaker number 2 from our opposition team. And now we will conclude the debate with our concluding remarks from our mutual rebuttal speaker from our proposition and opposition teams. Please state your argument.
Okay, so with the information that both proposition and opposition teams have said, I have 4 points in favor and 3 points against that smoking should be banned in public places. The 4 points in favor are that in public places not for everybody is fun to inhale the smoke of other people that are smoking. And also for some people it is very dangerous because they have respiratory problems, and when they inhale that smoke, it goes to their lungs and they couldn't breathe, and we could have serious problems. Also, people around, when they inhale that smoke, little by little, the lungs are more affected, and we could have serious problems like cancer, that is most of the most serious ones, pulmonary diseases and respiratory problems more developed, and it's not good for people. And also in some public places there are babies, and the smoke, when they inhale that smoke, it is very dangerous and toxic for them, especially when they are so young. So we have to be careful. And the 3 points against that smoking should be banned in public places are that nowadays people start to smoke at a very young age. One of the most typical examples are teenagers in the secondary school or the college. Many teenagers lose classes because they want to go out to smoke, and then they didn't understand the lesson. Also in cultural areas like museums, cinemas, that people go there to spend their free time, the smokers want to smoke, so it is not good for them because they want to smoke and they didn't listen. And in leisure places like bars and pubs, while you are drinking some beer, you are playing some cards with your friends, you want to smoke and you don't want to go out and be excluded. also in working places like offices, you are sometimes very stressed and you need to smoke to calm yourself. Another point is that in months of cold, like January, February, October, November, December, if you are in a public place, you don't want to go out to smoke because you are cold, and also you want to be with your family and your friends inside, and it's not fun for these people that smoke. And nowadays in Spain, 30% of the population smokes, and of this percentage, 80% are teenagers. So this problem affects them in a very high way. That concludes my summary.
That concludes our debate today on whether smoking should be banned in public places. I would like to remind our audience, who, as I've said before, are also our judges, so to please mark your votes for who has won this debate, final debate. I'd like to thank our debate speakers. Everyone, please give them a round of applause.